welcome to DNS Live. Right now it's just the S because, D disappeared. I don't know where he went, but he doesn't really participate anyway, so I'm going to get by with this night. But anyway, we have one of my really good friends on tonight. We're going to have some fun talking and finding out all sorts of stuff. I'm interested to I got a list of questions here for you, Morgan, so we're going to go through some fun stuff. So I want to introduce Morrighan Lynne. Can you hear me okay?
I can. There's a little bit of an echo in there, so it's got a delay.
Yeah, sometimes we get that. That's welcome to live TV is what Eric always tells me. So at least you can still hear me, and it's not like a bad delay, so that's good. We've got, I don't know if you're in the chat room or not, but we've got some people in the chat room. So if you guys have questions for Morgan as we get going tonight, pop them in there. I'm going to try to keep an eyeball on the chat room while we're talking. So if we've got some questions, we can hop on it. So let's get started. Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? The work that I do is founded in the angelic realm. So everything that I do is with my guides, with my own guidance team. And so that means because I work in the highest good, they're going to take me anywhere and everywhere that is going to serve the highest good. So that'll either be working with a person one-on-one with their own guidance team, or we'll go into places where spirits are at unrest and they need a little help with that, or I don't know, even just past life work. I mean, I really just go anywhere in the direction they want me to go.
So do you see, like, with your spirit guides, if you're talking to a client, can you pick up on their spirit guides as well?
Oh, yeah, that's actually the way it works. So if I'm doing my own work for my own life, it's my team. But when I'm working with a client, it's their team. And that's what I love about it, because we all have our own spiritual guidance team, and they know us better than we know ourselves. And so by going to that team, they're going to be able to offer information to that person that's going to serve their life. It's not my business or my advice or anything like that. It's what serves them.
It's kind of their, kind of like their own personal cheer team, really, that you're tying into. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I was reading about it and thinking about it, and then you and I had some conversations today, and I'm like, she's talking about her guys.
Yes.
I get it now, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I treat them like a lot of like just my best friends, and so people that don't know me that well they're not sure who I'm talking about when I say my guys, but that's who I mean when I say my guys. They're my angels, my spirit guides. They're the ones that are working with me to get through my stuff in life.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So you have your spiritual team. Do you find that, maybe you're going through a tough decision or something like that? Do you find that you get additional help on that spiritual team, or do you feel like they all kind of pull together a little tighter to help guide you?
No, people have their core foundation. They have their at least 2 guardian angels and at least 1 spirit guide that is with them from before they're born until after they die. However, based on whatever the person is going through, let's say they're going through a very particularly stressful moment, they'll have the specialty guides come in that'll help them through that moment. And then once they pass through that and everything is, back at peace, and they've gone through what they need to go through and learned what they've learned, then they'll kind of just fade back and go help other people.
So basically you could say that at any time somebody's got a stressful point in their life, they still have this support team, this same team that comes in, so they know how you deal with the stress and the distress and all of that, so they can kind of help you. It's kind of like a safety net, really. It's
amazing, and that's one of the biggest platforms that I always want to talk about, is people have this sense that it's them against the world. We have this isolation thing that we think we have to be by ourselves, or we feel abandoned from our families and friends and such. Mm-hmm. But we're never alone. They are the ones that we can go to first to understand, what our situation is better and what would serve our highest good, as opposed to what we should do and what we shouldn't do and all that judgmental stuff that humans get into.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I kind of picture that cartoon that we see of, the angel and the devil. you've got like your little team that you're always walking around with.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I probably, 3 or 4 years ago, before I started getting into the paranormal, I probably would have never bought into any of that because I hadn't had enough, I guess maybe an open mind enough to really tie into that. But since I've been doing it and kind of reading more about this kind of stuff, it's like, you know what? I can remember when I was such and such age and I was going through trying to, buy my first car or get my first job, a stressful moment, and think you actually feel at times that there is something guiding you. And it's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's nothing like that. It's something guiding you. And after what you said about, having it with us, from birth through death, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. And I think that's sometimes why we get a reflection back to an experience in life when we're making a similar decision or we're going through something similar. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about it is because they were with us before birth, they know us better than anybody else. They know exactly what we said we wanted to do. They know exactly who we said we wanted to be. So for me, that work is very efficient to go to that team as opposed to that person or their family or their friends, because that's just all opinion and perception. So if I just cut to the chase and go to the guidance team, they're going to tell me exactly what's going to work for that person, even if that person doesn't even know. And so it's very efficient work for me.
Well, and it's not like you're having to recreate the wheel to get to point A, and you've spent this time kind of churning when you could have just, went right in there.
That's yeah.
When you're talking with clients, you said that we've got, at least 3, the 2 guardian angels and the 1 spirit guide. Are there any clients that have stood out in your mind over others that may have had a larger spiritual team than that?
Yes, there's a couple of reasons when they'll have a larger team. That is usually if at the moment I'm doing the reading with them, they're going through very traumatic, heavy moments in their life. And so they'll have those extra teammates on board. Mm-hmm. But then there's also a realm that it's kind of an interesting conversation, and we don't have to get too far into it if you don't want, but there is a incarnate angel conversation where someone has actually been an angel before, and now they're on the planet having this human experience. But because they come from the angelic realm, they tend to have more angels with them because it's their family, as opposed to just the rest of us having just 2 of the guardian angels. They'll have more comrades just because they're from that family.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and that kind of leads to some other questions, because I do want to talk about this. I mean, it's very interesting to me. So, okay, so in that instance, they're in this spiritual team support. The person that they're supporting and that they're serving passes. Mm-hmm. What happens to that team? Do they, because they've known this person, do they attach themselves to a bloodline from that person? Or what happens at that point? How do they know who they're going to go support next, or does that even happen?
Well, for me, it's all by agreement. So that team they're all by agreement. We agreed that they're going to be a part of it. They agreed that we're all going to be this team together. So after the person dies, the contract is complete. That team will assist that soul in crossing over. Whether or not that's successful or not, it's a case-by-case kind of thing, obviously working in the paranormal field. But that contract is complete, therefore it gets dissolved, and that guidance team goes and gets assigned to another soul.
See, that's interesting, because I would have thought, and this is why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
I thought that at some point, because they knew really all the inner workings of this person, that they would have been able to take some of that and attach it to a son or a daughter to kind of help assist. And I don't know why I think that or why I feel that way. I think just because if they know that parent, like for me, if I were to pass, I would think that they would stay with Paisley or one of my kids, because they knew some of the decisions that I made in bringing them up, and maybe I did that because it affects so much of our kids, that I would think that the spiritual guide would kind of attach themselves to this other team as kind of, well, her mom made this decision based on this, and that's why she went down this path, or that's why she was supportive going down this area. And so it's very interesting to me. I mean, it's a very personal relationship. So it's very interesting to me to see what happens after.
Well, there's a couple of things to think about on that level. Is that they have their own guardian angels as well. So they have their own team as well. They're not necessarily in need of your spiritual team because they have their own. However, it is by agreement. I've seen spirit guides switch. I've actually completed one contract with my spirit guide, and I have a new spirit guide now. So there's no hard, fast rules. It definitely is all by the agreement between you and that team. Now, on that other level, if one of your spirit guides is part of your lineage, there is a possibility they may hang back and just help support, but they won't become your children's spirit guide. They'll just be extra help. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm, and that's kind of what I was thinking. It's more of like a support or a
if they wanted to. Mm-hmm.
You want to welcome him late to the show?
I just woke up.
Whatever. He's so lazy. We're in here getting into the show, and he wants to join us late. So, anyway, we need to start talking to his spiritual team about making sure he's punctual.
They can't help him on that one. There's a thing called free will.
Making dog arrangements.
Yeah, anyway. We'll finish that conversation later. Anyway, so guardian angels. Let's talk about guardian angels, because a lot of people think, at least it's kind of been my experience talking to people that are outside of the paranormal field. I have my own opinion based on my personal experiences, but a lot of people think that you have to have a family member pass or have a connection to, like a tight connection to someone to have this guardian angel. And
right.
I don't know, I think before I got into the paranormal, I might have kind of bought into that a little bit. But after losing my dad and knowing my dad's my guardian angel, now I'm kind of like, yeah, I could kind of buy into that, but I still think somewhere along the way you've got, call it something on your shoulders, call it something that's always guiding you along before you've lost somebody. So let's kind of talk about guardian angels a little bit, and I guess how they're associated with different people. I don't think you have to necessarily lose somebody to have a guardian angel.
Oh gosh, no. In fact, your guardian angels and your spirit guide are with you before you're born, which means they're not family members. They're not your grandmother or grandfather or dad or mom. They're not anybody like that. Now, and that's just semantics. That's just labeling. That's just the logistics of it.
Right.
Now, if you have a family member that does pass, they can hang back and support you. Technically, they're not your guardian angel. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I know the thought of that. I know the comfort of having that guardian
angel.
But technically, you have guardian. Yeah. Technically, you have your already guardian angels, and it's a bonus when they hang back and support you.
Ask her. I hate when he gets off camera and has great questions. Did you hear what he said?
No, you're gonna have to speak up, dude. Come on.
Ask the question again.
What did I ask?
She can't see you either.
Oh.
Yes, I am talking to the disembodied voice.
Could your guardian angel be yourself in a past life?
No, because the guardian angel is an angel. It's not a human.
Okay.
So yeah, you can't like cross over and help yourself.
No, because you're a soul. You're the soul of you. Does that make sense?
If he was paying attention to begin with.
If he had gotten up early, he'd been on the beginning of the conversation.
It's a legitimate question.
No, it is. I'm teasing you. It is legitimate, but I think what you might be thinking is multidimensional selves. There is a possibility that your spirit guide could be, but a spirit guide is different than an angel because a spirit guide has been human before, where the angel hasn't.
Which would make sense.
Mm-hmm. It's a possibility. I mean, there's a whole conversation around multidimensional selves, and I don't see why it couldn't be that. It could be another dimensional you being your spirit guide. Absolutely.
See, and I think all that's interesting because we talk about, you can get into so many levels on that, but we talk about, and it kind of gets more into a Christian thing where we talk about God created the earth. Well, how do we know he didn't create other universes, and that we're not living here on this universe and then we die and go to another universe? I mean, there's so many schools of thought on it that, beforehand I would have been, hey, I was raised a Christian, this is what I believe. And now that I'm here, it's like, I want to hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very interested in a lot of that because it's more open-minded now. And it could be that, yeah, we do live on different planes. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think there are multi-dimensions.
I think there is too. I mean, why else do you think we have like a deja vu experience? And why do you think that sometimes we feel like, I feel like I've done this before type thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
There's
the thing to remember is that scientists have only located, labeled, measured, and made real 4% of the known universe. 4 measly percent. That means there's 96% out there that we have no clue what it is. So come on, do the math. If there's so much more out there.
There has to be. Well, and add on to that, how much have we tapped into our brain that we actually use?
Yeah.
So it amazes me. And I think that the possibilities are endless. I think there's just still so much more. And I don't know that we will ever really be able to tap into that or have the technology really to know everything that our brain does. Mm-hmm. I just think it's awesome.
I think we will eventually. I think that's what this whole conversation is about, Ascension, is we are increasing our vibration to such a rate that we're tapping into those parts of us that we've been, that have been dormant for this long, for these centuries. So that's, for me, the whole point of even being on this planet is the growth and the progression that we're going into.
Well, but let's take it a step further. How do I know that you being able to do what you do and have the talent that you have to be able to see these spirit guides, that you're not using, a little bit more of your brain than what I would use, because you've developed that sense of it? And how do we, that somebody else, that's an Einstein rocket scientist type that gets numbers and statistics and engineering, they're not using a little bit more. We don't. And there's really no way to test that. So I think a lot of things are possible based on that.
Yep.
Now, I saw a question in the chat room. I keep trying to get back to it, and everybody's like chit-chatting, which I love. But I'm like, okay, where'd that question go to? Let's see.
If you're talking about the one I asked, Sherry, I just ask if your spirit guides or guardian angels, whatever label you want to, whatever label makes you happy, could they cross time barriers, or are they always like recent passings in your family or your friends, or is it possible for like somebody to have like Abraham Lincoln, Julius Caesar, and Napoleon as spirit guides? I mean, it's possible, but
it is possible. That would be a very interesting entourage to have. Woo, that would be quite the party. It's absolutely possible because they're souls, and if they chose, see, the breakdown of it for me is this: after a person dies, their soul has a choice of where they want to go, and if you want to be a spirit guide for someone, you would actually go to a school to teach you how to be a spirit guide. And then just to simplify it like that, you actually go and learn how to be a spirit guide. And then once you graduate, whatever you want to call it, you would be assigned to a soul that is about to be born. And so you would be assigned to that person and you would be their spirit guide. So yeah, technically, if Abraham Lincoln wanted to be a spirit guide, absolutely, that's the possibility.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to bring in a funny little story because I about peed my pants. I was laughing so hard when I got asked this. So Friday night I was out with the team, and we went out to the cemetery, and we had kind of finished up some stuff, and we're, getting in the car, and we're getting settled in, and, we need to go across the street and get, some more water and use the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. And so all of a sudden this cop pulls up. And we're thinking we're going to get in trouble because, we're in a cemetery and it's 11 o'clock at night. And so he pulls up and he's like, what are y'all doing out here? And I'm like, well, and I'm like, I'm going to be honest with the guy, right? Because if I don't, he's going to ask 20 million questions. And why do we have all this stuff in the back of the car? All this stuff. So I said, well, we're paranormal investigators and we're out here investigating the cemetery. And his response to me was, can I see your paranormal certification?
Oh.
And I said, well, sir, there isn't one. You actually can't even go to school to get a degree. It's not a scientific field. And he's like, well, I was just testing you. I knew that. And I kind of laughed because I'm like, I could tell by his expression he really didn't. But it was like, okay, so people ask us all the time, are we certified? So do you get that question in your line of work? Are you certified? Is there a schooling? You know, how do you respond to something like that?
Yeah, it's not a certification, like there's not a psychic certification or a medium certification, but you can take classes that are certification courses. And the angel course that I took is a certification course. And for me, it's just a piece of paper. I don't quite fall into the belief that we all need certifications unless you are a medical doctor or a doctor of psychology and stuff like that, something that is regulated. But that's a big conversation topic for people on how to regulate the work that I do. It's very interesting. But no, there isn't necessarily any kind of regulation, but you can get certified in different modalities. And because I'm also a Reiki master in 2 traditions, and you have to be certified to say that you're a Reiki master, you know?
Right. And I've started I got a curiosity about that too. So I've kind of started looking into that and looking around here just to kind of see, you know, what's good and what's not. And, you know, it goes back to, I think we are based on the train of thought that you have to have a certification to be this and do that. Mm-hmm. And just because you have a certification doesn't mean you really know what you're doing either.
That's right.
And that goes for, you know, an MD, a PhD, you know, whatever it may be.
Anybody, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you kind of have to give credence more to, I think, those that are in tune and those are experienced when it comes to, you know, our side of the field and what we do. You know, I can work with you and know you know what you're talking about. And I can work with somebody else and be like, that's nowhere near like some of the stuff I did research on.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it has to go with gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And
people will go to where they feel guided too. I mean, I'm not out to make everybody like me. I don't need followers. I don't need people to get what I do. But because of the authenticity of who I am, people resonate with that. And I really do believe that we get the people we work with by law of attraction. If I'm clear who I am and what I stand for and what my service is, people that are looking for that, even if they don't know they're looking for it, are going to find me. That's just the way it works. And so I'm not overly concerned about getting people to get what I do. I just know I get it. And that's all that really matters for me.
Right. Well, and the person that's coming to you is coming to you for a reason, whether they've been led there or not. I believe people cross paths for a reason.
Yes,
and so,
always.
Yeah, there's a reason why they've come across you. And if that's their, you know, their spirit guide saying, okay, well, I know this lady understands, so let's push her this way. You know what I mean? We don't know, but I am a firm believer in people crossing paths for a reason. There's something to be learned there. There's something of value there. There's something to help you there. There's a skill. There's a aha moment. Mm-hmm. You know, something. Still trying to figure out how I met this one, but Mr. Quiet over here. So, okay, so that's kind of cool. What else did I see? I saw something else I wanted to ask you about. You already talked about the Reiki a little bit. There was something else I wanted to ask you about that I saw on your info. Okay, so I didn't know this about you. I didn't know you were an ordained minister.
I am, and I am very excited because I just got asked to officiate my best friend's wedding in June. I told him, I said, I can't promise I won't cry, but yeah, I am, and I really enjoy it. I think this will be my 7th wedding that I've officiated, so it's pretty fun.
So now, do you tie that into your client readings and that type of thing? Do you kind of pull from, you probably have this plethora of tools available, but do you ever have to pull from some of that sometimes when you're doing client readings?
You mean, what do you, like, of course, yeah, because when I'm doing readings, it literally goes in the direction that serves the client. And I've always had this saying within me that if somebody has a question, like do I read totem animals or do I interpret dreams or anything like that, I never say no. I don't do that because, I didn't go to school for that. I say, I don't know, let's see. And because of my attitude around that, I trust that the angels are going to show me how to do it. They say, okay, literally, they'll say, okay, we're going to show you how to reconnect their DNA strands. And I'm like, okay. Okay, sure, show me how to do that. And they'll start showing me how to do it. And I'm like, this is tripping me out a little bit. But it works. Yeah, and I just trust them. So that's why I'm so eclectic, because I'm always really just open to, all right, let's see if we can do that. What do you guys got? Let's go. Let's do this. So,
well, and again, I think it's one of those meant to be's, and it helps you have more of a balance and more of an ability to kind of take a wider range of stuff. Instead of, some people you go to that are mediums or, healers and so forth, they kind of limit themselves to, I'm only going to do this, or I'm only going to do that. And you kind of end up, some people may walk away not feeling completely whole from that reading.
Well, but again, if that person just does astrology or just does palm readings, they're going to attract the people that are going to want that only. So that's why there really isn't anything wrong. Like, I don't do it the right way. I do it my right way, and they do it their right way. So we're going to get the clients and the people come into our path that are going to resonate with our work. So there are people that just do one thing, and they're completely comfortable with that, and their clients love them. So it really is all perfect.
It's all kind of based on what that person, I guess, needs.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. See, I would think if I went to go get my hand read, I'd be like, oh, so you see such and such? Okay, well, then I need to go find somebody. It's kind of like,
go interpret that.
kind of help me, kind of guide me along here a little bit. Give me some more input.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this healing technique that you have, your multidimensional programming technique. Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. That is something that, this is a perfect example, because that literally got invented. One day, a friend of mine was talking about this technique of muscle testing with statements. And it's basically to uncover the statements that your subconscious doesn't agree with. And statements like, I am loved, I am worthy, I am capable, I am strong. So it's all these positive statements. Well, your subconscious will react to the ones that it doesn't believe. So if you don't believe you're lovable, if you say I am lovable, your body will react through muscle testing, applied kinesiology. So we were playing around one day, and there was a whole list of these statements, and we were, I was asking him these, and we were muscle testing him. And all of a sudden, I started looking at all of the statements that he got no on. And all of a sudden, this past life started coming into focus. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be weird, but here's what I'm getting. And I started telling him this past life that I saw. We healed that past life, retested the statements, and he got yes on all of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was freaking amazing. And we were like, okay, I don't know what just happened here, but that was incredible. So we created our own statements. We created different subjects like relationships, money, love, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we started reprogramming people, because that's basically what we are. We're just a big living computer.
Right.
And in that way, it can be programmed. So might as well take out the negative programs and replace them with the positive.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
It was very cool.
So do you find, and I know each client's different, and I know each client's needs and concerns and stuff are different, but do you find when you sit down with a client that you take, I'm more of an outline type person to make sure I cover enough stuff. Do you take that kind of understood approach, or do you kind of sit and visit with the client for a little bit and get a feel for what they need and kind of go with the flow? I mean, is there like any set thing that you do with each client, or is it just kind of based on what they need?
Yeah, if it's an angel reading, then it's very standard in the way of, the first thing I do is I don't want any questions at first, because I want to give them what I get first. Mm-hmm. So I connect with their chakra system. I connect with the energy that they are. And I actually get a lot of information about people just going into their chakra system and giving them information that system's wanting them to have. Like, if they're really stressed or they're not taking care of their body, or, like I said, like the neurological system is freaking out. So they'll ask me to kind of go through that neurological system and put it back into a peaceful state. But I give them what I get first. And it's so cool because angels lovingly call that the shut up and listen. So shut up and listen. Here's what we got for you. And they'll just tell you, here's what's going to serve you right now. This is the most important thing we have for you. And then if you have questions, we go into the questions and we get a little bit more detail oriented. But at first, I really just like feeling what that person's going through and giving them that information.
Well, and it almost sounds like their angels are kind of like, okay, we're kind of frustrated with you right now because you're not listening and you're not doing this. So we're going to have this person tell you. Yeah. And then it's going to be that aha type. Uh-huh. So that's interesting. Now,
yeah, and humans they just get really caught up in the stress. We think we know what we know. We think we have it all figured out. And then when we don't, we're really hard on ourselves and we beat ourselves up. So it's really nice to get a second opinion from this amazing all-knowing team that is totally on your side. So yeah. I love that.
Knows how to treat it. That's awesome. It's your own cheering section, really.
Yeah, they're the best cheerleaders ever. Yeah.
It's awesome. So do you find that you have like regular clients that are always, hey, Morrighan, last time we talked, this was the thing, and now I'm kind of feeling a little out of whack again. Do we need to go back and focus it? I mean, how do you work with your regular clients? I mean, is it always working on something, or is it just different stuff that's come up in their life?
It'll depend. It honestly, like if somebody decides to do a reading with me, I make them work because I'm of the thinking that this is your life. Yes, you have angels and guides, but they're not going to do it for you. So you need to do a little bit of work here. So I'm grateful in that aspect because when people do come back, they'll say, okay, I totally did my homework. I'm ready for step 2. What do we got to do? So they're ready to work on the next level. And that's what's cool about angels is because they'll always do this really great breadcrumb trail where they give you step 1. And if you do your homework, then they bring you step 2 and then step 3 and step 4 and on and on and on.
Well, so, and it's like it's a continual process. So it's not like, a lot of people will go and see, a medium for a reason and that's it. They check out. But it sounds like people that are into the angelic side of things are fully committed to that. Yeah. It's almost a life-changing experience in a maintenance type session on it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I look at it as a spiritual counseling, not so much straight psychic. Like, I'm not going to tell you where I see you in 5 years. That's not the way I work. It's not the way the angels work. They're not interested in 5 years down the road. They're interested in who you are right now and how they can support you and then moving forward.
And get you ready for 5 years and what you're going to do.
Because if you go in the direction they're offering you, your 5 years down the road is going to be freaking amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? We need to enjoy it between here and there anyway.
That's right.
Because in 5 years, I'm still going to be sitting here. Well, maybe not right. All right. So I have a question in the chat room.
Okay.
And if you have read someone in the past, are you now connected to them and get a feel for what's going on in their life? Or once the reading is over, is the connection off?
Well, that's an excellent question because once the reading's over, so the level of my reading is I'm clairsentient, meaning I feel what the person's feeling. So in order to do that, I take their energy and I put it inside of me. So I literally feel them. If they're stressed, I'm stressed. If they have a headache, I get a headache. And what I'm doing is I'm borrowing their energy to read it so that I can help them understand what's going on, right?
Okay.
Once the information is complete and the reading is over, I give them back their energy and it's over. If I attach to them and I continue that connection, it's unhealthy for both the client and myself. Mm-hmm. So the reading has to be over, the energy has to be done. And then I have my own ethics. I never, ever, ever look at anybody without permission. So I don't reach out and check on people. I don't reach out and just, how are they doing? I don't do that. That's
when they're
such a strong ethic for me.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. That was a great question. Thank you, Andre. Hello, Andre. I hadn't talked to Andre in forever. I'll get questions. Okay, so let's see. What else? There was something else. You have like such an interesting bio. I was like, I didn't know that about you.
It's quite a lot.
You do so much, and you've been working on a lot of your jewelry lately too. I noticed that.
Yes,
So
I'm taking a little bit of a break, but I have been doing jewelry for a couple years now, and I really enjoy it.
So let me ask you this. You like how I do that? I'm always like, let me ask you this. I always ask permission to ask questions. I'm not one of those nosy little people that I'm like, no.
Bring
I
it.
find a lot of creative people, and when I say creative, I mean artsy fartsy musicians, you name it. Creative people have additional outlets.
Yeah.
So, you do your readings and you help out your clients, and you've got jewelry and all of that. Is there anything in the creative realm that you would not venture in? Like, steer from painting? Would you steer from, I don't know, anything that's in that artistic realm? Because a lot of people that are artsy-fartsy, they'll take on anything.
Well, I definitely like to try new things. I am a shapeshifter, so I'm bored if I try something like jewelry. Like, I'm bored with it now. I want to do something new. Even though I'll end up going back to it every now and then, but I do like to paint. I do like pottery and clay and things like that. But I have my favorites. So I may leave them alone for a while and go try something new, but I come back to the painting and the jewelry. But no, I will pretty much try anything. I'm that way.
See, and I'm kind of like, I like the hands-on type stuff, or the computer crafty stuff, that type of thing. And I kind of find that sometimes, and the reason why I was asking you is because to stay in that positive frame of mind, you have to have something to kind of stay busy with. And so it seems to me, and I don't know what Deegan's going to tell us either, but it seems to me creative people seem to be happier people. And
I agree with that.
Creative outlet, if it's the positivity of relieving your stress by something you enjoy. For all I know, it could be a scientific thing that releases endorphins, or whatever it is, more serotonin or whatever. But
well, I think that, I just believe that humans are creation beings. We have to be making something, or we're not happy. And people either do that in their career, like if they're architects or landscapers, they're being creative just in their language. Mm-hmm. And if you have a job where you don't have really any creativity, if you don't have anything in your private life that's creative, there tends to be a higher rate of depression in that area. Not clinical, hardcore depression, but there's just something missing. And I just think because we are creation beings, we crave to make things.
Is it that we need self-gratification? Because I know when on certain jobs that I've been on or whatever, I'm like, the more hands-on I am, the more, proud or happier I am that I was a part of it, because
it's more of a positive
of the finished product. Like when
that's where it comes from. Yeah, it's that feeling of completing something, I think.
So do you get a sense, like when you're reading your clients and stuff, do you get a sense for kind of a positivity versus a negativity in that aspect? Because like if I were to say, hey, Morgan, I want to do a reading tomorrow night, let's do it at 8:00, and let's say I come home, I've had a crappy day at work, and I'm all pent up, I'm not going to have a good read. But let's say I came home and, maybe I did some stuff in Photoshop, or maybe I sat down with the sewing machine and did something, I'm going to have a positive vibe about it, and I'm going to have a better read. So do you kind of, when their spiritual team is talking to you, are you also able to pick up before this person even says anything, because you don't know what kind of day they've had? Mm-hmm. Are you able to pick up on that energy from them and kind of know how to flip it around without really having that person open their mouth and saying, man, I've had a really crappy day?
Yeah, that's instantly how I do it. Like when I connect with somebody, I'll instantly feel what they're feeling. I don't know how to explain it other than instantly, whatever they're going through, I feel it. And it's like, wow, you are really having a stressful day. So I'll just help them ground it out, because when you said a bad read or a good read, I can read anybody if they let me. The only way I can't read somebody is if they're completely shut down. And if they even just give me a little crack in the door, I can read them, but they have to be willing to let me in, because I don't invade, I don't bombard.
Right.
But if they come to me and they're really stressful and they're having a hard day, I can ground them and I can clear that energy out of the way. Then we can get to the topic at hand. We can get to the guidance. But it's all maintainable. That's one of the things I want to stand for, is not only doing the readings, but teaching people how to take care of themselves. If they're feeling stressful, I want to educate them on what they can do to support themselves. I don't need clients to stay with me for years and years and years. I don't want that. I don't want clients permanently, because I want to educate them on how to take care of themselves and improve their own life. And I'm very big on that.
Well, and if they've got their spiritual team and they've been able to tap into it, then they should be able to, at some point, connect with them a little bit better and understand. Now, they may need to come back for a little touch base or something like that, but I would think that once I've connected with my spiritual team, and I'm more of a curious individual, that I'm like, okay, guys, let's sit for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of tap into that.
Well, that's the way you start, honestly, is even just being open to having a conversation with them is how you start. They're there. They already hear you. They're with you every second of the day. And
They've probably been waiting for you to say, I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's that easy. If you just stop and you say, all right, so this chick on the radio told me that you're there. So, all right, you're there. Let's get to know each other. And that's all it takes, is just being able to be open like that.
Well, and it's amazing to me, again, being in the paranormal field, how much you can really open yourself up to. And I think, you can go to school and you can study and you can become smart, you can grow your brain. But I think when you start connecting to things that are more natural and connecting back to the earth and connecting back to that kind of thing, that you're opening yourself up in so much more of a way to absorb more than just what you can be taught, and more than just what's book smart. And I think that goes back to, your gut feelings about stuff and having a positive, side of things. I know a lot of people that have met me, or they're like, sure, you're always so happy-go-lucky. Well, you haven't seen me on a bad day, and I do have them. But a lot of times it's a matter of stepping back and thinking, it's not gonna get me anywhere. So I need to be a little bit more positive. And I think the people that tie into that are the people that you're probably going to see more, because they know they have that high, that natural high on that positivity. And that's kind of, my sense and my take on things. Now,
well, we're responsible for ourselves, and that's something that I think people misunderstand when working with angels, is they're there, but it's not their job to make us happy. It's not their job to make our lives turn out perfect. We are half of that equation. They can offer the guidance, but we have to enact it. We're the physical representation of that guidance. We have to do it. Yeah. So if you're unhappy, it's your job to do something about that. I know it's difficult, but there are tools, and that's where the angels come in, is they'll offer tools on how to support you through that.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome. I think once you know how to tie into it, it's important. There's people that will use, crystals and that type of thing. So I think it goes back to nature, and it goes back to a lot of the school of thought of feeding off the moon and the sun and the earth and all of that. And I really do think that if you pay attention to a lot of that, who knows what's going to happen. And I think being in tune with that's probably what even allows you to be in tune with your own spiritual team and what's going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a whole conversation around that was our original state. We were natural rhythm beings. We did flow with the rhythm of the year and the moon cycle and the sun and the moon and all of that. So there is something, we are ritualistic beings. We get up out of bed, we take a shower, brush our teeth, get dressed, have breakfast, go to work. we do it every day. So we are ritualistic beings. We do like that rhythm and pattern. So that's where we're comfortable.
It makes us whole, so to speak.
Yeah.
So many words. So what do you have coming up? What do you have that you're looking forward to and you're excited about? Do you have anything new that you're venturing into? What's going on with Morrighan's World?
Morrighan's World is crazy busy. I'm so incredibly grateful. Let's see, I have recently been invited to be part of a para team, and I believe you know them. They're in the room. The North Texas Ghost Society. Absolutely love those guys. Having a blast. We got to do our first investigation about a month ago, and we're going again on Saturday, so I'm all excited.
Nice. Are you going to finish up some stuff that you started there?
What's that?
Are you going back to finish up some stuff you started there, or did you find some stuff that you need to go back and get some clarification on?
Oh, no. We're complete with that location. We're going to a new place. So we're going to be able to, and it'll be fun for me because this world is really new for me. Like, even though I've been doing the spiritual side of it for so long, I've always been curious of the science side of it. So I'm happy to be able to participate and be able to get the experience of it. So that will be really fun for me. I started writing my book again, so I'm committing to having my book finished by August. Yes, I said it, and yes, I mean it. Because they've been giving me crap about it because I've been trying to write it for 4 years and I keep putting it off.
It's a work in progress, literally.
Quite literally. It's been such a progress. And see what else. I am working on a television pilot. I don't have a lot of details for you. We're keeping everything kind of on the down low, but that is moving quite nicely. Very, very grateful for that. And everything else is just, the adventure of life. So, yeah, fun stuff.
Everything else is good. I know. I keep up with you on Facebook. I'm like, okay, what is she doing now? What's she doing now? Where's she at? Where's she doing?
See, that's the thing about being a shapeshifter is I have to have 2 or 3, even 4 or 5 things going on, or I'm really bored. Like, I have to keep busy.
You don't have to tell me. I'm a great juggler. You don't have to tell me.
Yes. I love having 5 or 6 things going on, and then that way I feel really fulfilled. So that's my comfort zone.
And you don't get bored.
Mm-mm.
And that's my whole thing. People are like, oh my gosh, how do you do all that? I'm like, I don't get bored. If I'm sitting still, there's a problem. I either sleep or there's a problem because I'm too much of a busybody and I can't even. We talk about going on vacation and doing stuff, and I'm like, so where are we going? What can we do when we get there? Can we bring our equipment? I mean, can't shut it off, and it is what it's what it is. I get into, but
yeah.
Anyhow, so we got looks like a couple more minutes here. Let's tell everybody how they can find you, how they can get a hold of you for your readings, how they can get a hold of the team, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the best place to get a hold of me would be through my website, and it's embracedwithin.com. And there is a link on my website if you wanted to find me on Facebook. And then the team's site on Facebook is North Texas Ghost Society, and that they just have we have our own page. Sorry, I've got to get in the habit of that. We have our own page on Facebook, so you can look it up that way.
Awesome. And I'm Andre. I love my Andre. Let's see. It looks like he's still in the room. Andre, if you want, because I know when you're doing Facebook, it's like that Facebook/whatever. Go ahead and put that in there so they can find you guys over at NTGS, because I'm not even sure what the acronym is after that. I barely keep up with ours. I'm always copying and pasting, so I can't tell you what that is. Do you do anything on Twitter? Are you a Twitter head?
No. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I have other things to do than tweet like what my lunch is about, and I don't get it.
Well, in my whole thing, and y'all can yell at me later about picking on Twitter, but if I'm going to be on Twitter doing stuff, then why am I on Facebook? And why is there Twitter when I cannot just tell you on Facebook, but I can show you a picture of the hamburger that I choose to tell you about that I'm eating? You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't understand.
I
know it's real time connection and all that, but there's a world out there, and I'm busy. I don't want to do it. I'm on Facebook enough as it is.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, I want to see pictures. I don't want to read. There we go.
All right.
I see it. All right. So it's facebook.com. Oh, and you've got hyphens in there. Okay. It's facebook.com. Is it really pages right there, Andre? Okay. Facebook.com/pages/ and when you spell out North Texas Ghost Society, there are hyphens in the words. So when you guys go to check out NTGS, make sure you put the hyphens in there. And then you've got your embracewithin.com is out there.
Thank you.
You've got everybody covered. So I can't wait to hear about what you guys are going to do this weekend. I know you guys had fun at Magnolia because I saw the video.
Oh my gosh. It was by far the most incredible paranormal / spiritual experience of my life to date. I'm not even exaggerating. It was so amazing.
That's what you're looking for, though. You wanted.
Yes, I did. I called that puppy in, and I did it. It was awesome. Yeah, the guys were great. They were so supportive. It was just magical. The whole deal was magical.
And now you get to do it again at a different location.
I know.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Can't wait to read about it. I'm sure I'll read about it when you guys start posting about it. I know Andre was teasing on the page. Okay, we're going through stuff. I'm like, damn it, Andre, come on.
Well, there was a lot of footage, and I felt bad because I was kind of the new kid, and I didn't know how to support, but there were 8 cameras, and I'm like, come on, you can do it. I was like trying to cheer them on. Come on, you can do it. And they're like, leave me alone. My eyes are crossing.
It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, 64 hours of video, Andre said. It's a lot of focusing, and it's when you go back and review your work, if you've been doing it for a while and you're staring at the screen that is mostly black and white when you're looking at night vision, you start seeing things, and that's when you got to stop. And then you got to come back with fresh eyes and a good sleep and lots of coffee, right, Andre? Lots of coffee, and focus and look at it again. So it's a lot of work. People don't understand, when we go out someplace and we're excited about it and we know we've caught stuff, it's going back through, it's tagging it, finding those tags, and being able to really hone in on, I think I felt something or I heard something here, and I got to match it up with the video, and then getting it messed up. So it is, I don't know why we sometimes, but we do, and we live for it. So, it is the least glamorous of the event, but it was, getting the footage back was so validating and so great. I really enjoyed watching it. Yeah, well, and that's when you're kind of like, oh my gosh, did we really pass that? Or, did we really capture that? Or I don't remember hearing, did you? And you capture so much more than you think that you had.
I got huge validation on some things, because there's a video where we were talking to one of the old owners, and he was following me around all day because he wanted help. And I was like, please be patient. Let's get the cameras set up. We'll get to you, I promise. And he just kept following me around. So finally, when we got set up, I called him in, and that's the orb you see going around me 2 times. And then when he finally comes out, I look at him and I go, hi. That's the first time I've ever had that experience where I can see what's happening. That's what it feels like. Yeah, that's what it feels like when I call them in. They swirl around me, they kind of hug me, and then I'm like, hi. And my head turns to the direction of the orb. That freaked me out. I was screaming up and down, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. It was amazing.
What's even better about it is when you try to explain that to somebody, you can't. But when you've got something to validate it and tie back that you can see, then people are like,
I know. I've been trying to explain it for 7 years, and that was like,
look,
that's what it looks like right there.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
So awesome. Yeah, y'all had, I don't know, 64 hours of video, Andre. I don't know how much coffee you drank, but oh man,
they were very cranky for a few days. I didn't want to make fun too much or push them too much because they were pretty cranky.
Andre cranky?
I know, it's hard. I know. It's hard to imagine.
Not Andre. You just have to make sure he's got a big old cup of Java in his hand for you to start poking at him.
That's true. And then you'll live.
Yeah, cases in Keurig. Yeah, I know. I think Andre owns stock in Keurig, actually, but that's to be seen. I'll look for pictures of that tomorrow, Andre. He'll have a picture of the empty little K-cup stacked up. Be like, this was 4 hours of review. So anyway,
right. That's funny.
Well, you guys, I wish y'all the best of luck this weekend. I hope y'all have fun. I hope you get to capture some more stuff that you get to validate. And God, it was good having you on. I hadn't seen you since Unity Fest, so
I know. I've been running with my hair on fire since then, so I'm glad we had an hour to sit down with each other. Thank you.
For a little while.
Yeah.
So, awesome. All right, well, next week, I don't even know who's on next week. I do this every time. I mean to look. We've got somebody fun next week. I don't know. See, I don't even promote my own show. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the day. It's crazy. But thanks, everybody, for watching. You guys go check out Morgan's website. Go check out NTGS and bug them. When's your thing, Saturday? So bug them on Sunday. Just kidding, Andre. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a great time, and thank you again for being on. I speak for myself in the...
What?
Yeah, anyway. All right, well, thanks, Morgan, and thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to DNS Live. Right now, it's just the S because, yeah. D disappeared. I don't know where he went, but he doesn't really participate anyway, so I'm going to get by with this night. But anyway, we have one of my really good friends on tonight. We're going to have some fun talking and finding out all sorts of stuff. I'm interested to I got a list of questions here for you, Morgan, so we're going to go through some fun stuff. So I want to introduce Morrighan Lynne. Can you hear me okay?
I can. There's a little bit of an echo in there, so it's got a delay.
Yeah, sometimes we get that. That's welcome to live TV, is what Eric always tells me. So at least you can still hear me, and it's not like a bad delay. So that's good. We've got, I don't know if you're in the chat room or not, but we've got some people in the chat room. So if you guys have questions for Morrighan as we get going tonight, pop them in there. I'm going to try to keep an eyeball on the chat room while we're talking. So if we've got some questions, we can hop on it. So let's get started. Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? The work that I do is founded in the angelic realm. So everything that I do is with my guides, with my own guidance team. And so that means because I work in the highest good, they're going to take me anywhere and everywhere that is going to serve the highest good. So that'll either be working with a person one-on-one with their own guidance team, or we'll go into places where spirits are at unrest and they need a little help with that, or I don't know, even just past life work. I mean, I really just go anywhere in the direction they want me to go.
So do you see, like, with your spirit guides, if you're talking to a client, can you pick up on their spirit guides as well?
Oh yeah, that's actually the way it works. So if I'm doing my own work for my own life, it's my team. But when I'm working with a client, it's their team. And that's what I love about it, because we all have our own spiritual guidance team, and they know us better than we know ourselves. And so by going to that team, they're going to be able to offer information to that person that's going to serve their life. It's not my business or my advice or anything like that. It's what serves them.
It's kind of their, kind of like their own personal cheer team, really, that you're tying into. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I was reading about it and thinking about it, and then you and I had some conversations today, and I'm like, she's talking about her guys.
Yes.
I get it now, you know? I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I treat them like a lot of like just my best friends. And so people that don't know me that well they're not sure who I'm talking about when I say my guys, but that's who I mean when I say my guys. They're my angels, my spirit guides. They're the ones that are working with me to get through my stuff in life.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So you have your spiritual team. Do you find that, maybe you're going through a tough decision or something like that? Do you find that you get additional help on that spiritual team, or do you feel like they all kind of pull together a little tighter to help guide you?
No, people have their core foundation. They have their at least 2 guardian angels and at least 1 spirit guide that is with them from before they're born until after they die. However, based on whatever the person is going through, let's say they're going through a very particularly stressful moment, they'll have the specialty guides come in that'll help them through that moment. And then once they pass through that and everything is, back at peace, and they've gone through what they need to go through and learned what they've learned, then they'll kind of just fade back and go help other people.
So basically you could say that at any time somebody's got a stressful point in their life, they still have this support team, this same team that comes in, so they know how you deal with the stress and the distress and all of that, so they can kind of help you. It's kind of like a safety net, really. It's
amazing, and that's one of the biggest platforms that I always want to talk about, is people have this sense that it's them against the world. We have this isolation thing that we think we have to be by ourselves, or we feel abandoned from our families and friends and such. Mm-hmm. But we're never alone. They are the ones that we can go to first to understand, what our situation is better and what would serve our highest good, as opposed to what we should do and what we shouldn't do and all that judgmental stuff that humans get into.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I kind of picture that cartoon that we see of, the angel and the devil. You've got like your little team that you're always walking around with.
Yes.
It's kind of funny because I probably, 3 or 4 years ago, before I started getting into the paranormal, I probably would have never bought into any of that because I hadn't had enough, I guess maybe an open mind enough to really tie into that. But since I've been doing it and kind of reading more about this kind of stuff, it's like, you know what? I can remember when I was such and such